Hello. I was stuck in traffic. I was on the bus and the bus decided to stuck. Anyway, how are you guys doing? I met my mom. We had sushi. And then I came home. I'm streaming. Streaming schedule definitely harder if it's not a full-time. It is my full-time gig. My profession is unemployed. Anyway, let me get the chat up as well. Let me turn on TTS. Last stream, by the way, while I do this, let me put some music, wait. By the way, last stream yesterday was the best stream I ever had. I am not even kidding, dude. It's the most fun I have ever had. It was so amazing, dude. Hopefully everyone was here to experience that with me. Let me fix the music 1 second, I can't even hear it. I opened my door, I went to the bathroom, I game stream. I just sat down on my PC as well. Last of the mysteries, yeah. Down, down, river. Down, down, down by the river. Chat not visible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Will be in a second. You missed last stream because you got drunk with friends. Oh gosh. Hi Becca. Nice observer. Down, down, down by the... I watched the Chainsaw movie yesterday on stream. That was absolute cinema, I'm just saying. I'm opening everything for the stream, guys. 1 second. Down the river. Here we go. I'm ready. How's the music, by the way? Music good? Yes or no? What's up, Sergey? How are you doing? Okay, what happened last time? Let me start recording. Last time, we had a lot of reveals. First of all, Klein learned about Faceless, Magician, and Marionettist. 2, which I predicted. I am actually like, I don't know, like over the moon that I guessed and it was right. Anyway, let me open my theories as well so I can show you guys. We wrote down like 5 or 6 theories last time. Here we go. Let's go over them quickly before we start. I have a phone call. That's great. Let me answer quickly. I have to open my outside door for my mom. 1 second, dude. Yeah. You can read my theories in the meantime. I don't have to read out for you guys. Yeah. Okay, I'm back. Hello, guys. I'm back. The music paused for no reason. I see. Anyway, so we wrote down that scribe is on the lawyer or reader pathway. Client's bodyguard is on the monster pathway. Whatever pathway scribe is, it is interchangeable with secret suppliant. Lawyer and son pathway are interchangeable. Mime and marionettist or freak of something on the seer pathway. Well, marionettist was, I was correct. I don't know about mime, I don't think so anymore. The book that Mr. A uses from the reader pathway, question mark. The manuscript is a high beyond the artifact, Turani vol Helmusuin. That's it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Various parties. Mime, yeah, that was actually funny. By the way, let me explain you the guess as well. I was thinking about mime, and I said marionettist because I thought being a mime is the same as being a marionettist. Then we looked up marionettist, turns out it's like a puppet master. Then I was like, oh, seems like the Antigonus 2049 has the same like concept. So then I connected to marionettist, and it was absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. In Empress Borough, the opulent villa of Earl Hall, we're going back to Audrey. Audrey, with a white napkin covering her, watch as the dining maidservant cut her a piece of bacon, laid out 2 fully fried eggs, spread fruit jam on the piece of roast bread, and added sauce to some grilled mushrooms. This is the most British breakfast ever, by the way. In a true noble family, maidservants were divided into many categories. Apart from personal maids, there were maids for the different bedrooms. Study rooms maids, activity room maids, guest room maids, dressing maids, shoe maids, jewelry maids, dining maids, laundry maids, and the kitchen maids. Oh my god. They were strictly assigned to their own tasks, with one task handed by one maid. What next? Like, wipe your ass, maid? You need that? Although this was a great waste of manpower for nobles, property was everything. Unless there was a large amount of debt, they will never reduce the requirements on such matters. Audrey took a sip of the brownish red tea, allowing the faint scent of malt and rose slush in her mouth. At this moment she heard her father, MP of the House of Lords, the powerful banker, Earl Hall, mumbling as he held a newspaper in his hands. The Aurora Order is really crazy. The Aurora Order is really crazy. Aurora Order, Audrey blinked and asked curiously, what did they do? Oh, baby, you don't want to know. They assassinated the Intis ambassador, Bakerland. It does them no good. Earl Hall shook his head and as he flipped through the newspaper. Yep, Audrey is like, yes, the plan worked. But Mr. A is crazy, dude. I kinda think it's gonna be a pain in the ass in the future, right? Audrey's elder brother, the Count's eldest son, Hebert, swallowed the grilled mushrooms in his mouth and expressed his opinion. Hebert, have you wrote this down before? I think so. Just in case, let me mark this. Perhaps they want to destroy the relationship between the kingdom and Intis and let the war spread from the colonies to the northern continent. This child of noble birth had a handsome face and a bright golden hair. He looked like a classical sculpture regardless of which angle one viewed him from. I see. Handsome, you say? I'll be the judge of that. No, if that was the case, then they won't leave behind so much obvious evidence. Moreover, recently the kingdom has too many new policies that will be implemented and will need some time to stabilize the environment. We won't rashly start a war. What happened last night was already reported in the newspaper this morning, and the details of the events and the murder are enough to explain the thoughts of His Majesty and the ministers Earl Hall directed his son. Damn. Audrey listened to her father and brother discuss the matter in a daze before realizing what had happened. Bakerland has been assassinated. Delayed reaction from Audrey. Mr. A succeeded? He really is from the Aurora Order. The reason why he eventually exposed that it was the Aurora Order who did it was to prove that he was the one who completed the task and that he hadn't cheated me out of his money. Mr. Undo, by the way. This is too fast and efficient. I only paid the first sum yesterday afternoon and I'm hearing the result this morning. A good result. Oh my god. Mr. A acts fast. Audrey was astonished and delighted. It was uncontrollable joy. Also an instinctive fear. It was definitely something to be happy about since the mission entrusted by Mr. Fool's Blessed had been accomplished so easily. However, the power and actions displayed by Mr. Indo and the Aurora Order who was backing him left Audrey subsequently scared. Thankfully, I talked with Clint yesterday and reached a loan agreement. As a viscount, he should successfully raise the money without drawing attention to himself. I'll give Mr. A the remaining funds in the coming 2 days through Xio and Fors. I can't afford to show my face. I won't be attending Mr. A gathering for the next few months or so. Next month or two. It's good that I already have other circles. Audrey took a third bite of the soft bread, which was lathered with jam. Do you guys like jam, by the way? Hello, Crowish. How are you doing? As a breakfast due to a close, small cakes of cream, cherries, and strawberries were served to her plate. I suddenly felt a little smug as she's calmed down. Why is Audrey like, I did that. I ordered Bakerland's assassination. I mean, it was Fool who ordered that. Audrey ordered Mr. A, so yeah. Mr. Hanged Man wanted to take part in the mission, but he might only just now completed his initial assignment. It's already over. Serves him right to be at sea. Audrey was in a good mood as she was still smiling as she savored the dessert. I mean, dessert at breakfast is crazy though, no? At Hillston Borough, Xio and Fors looked at the newspaper in front of them and made no further movements for a long time. This was done Mr. A. That was done Mr. A, wasn't it? Xio looked at her friend with a shocked and puzzled look. Fors turned the stone bracelet on her wrist and shook her head in a daze. By the way, the bracelet has 2 charges left, right? From the, what was it called, like some Spirit Walker or whatever sequence. Yeah? Oh, here. Perhaps. I know the Aurora Order, but I don't know if Mr. A is a member of the Aurora Order. He should be, after all, we only gave him 2k yesterday. I thought anyone else would also want to assassinate the Ambassador Bakerland, Xio said with uncertainty. Force was silent for a few seconds before she suddenly sighed and said, whatever it was, Mr. A or not, we still have to give him the remaining £8,000. At the moment, no one can prove that he didn't do it. If we want to stay in the circle, we can't renege on the debt. Okay, renege. I have to look it up. What does that mean? Kill issue. Renege meaning and pronunciation.
Renege. Renege.
That was unexpected. Renege. Go back on promise. Okay. You have exams, Klaus? Good luck. We can't renege on the debt. Anyway, we're not the ones paying and we'll still get £500 for the work. With that, Xio became happy. The thing is, I always have a feeling that fighting Mr. A again will be dangerous. Force pondered and said, I'll go by myself and make the last payment. That'll be better for the both of us. But Xio was a little worried. If you follow me, it'll affect my escape. Force shook the bracelet on her wrist and said in a disdainful tone. That's how you pronounce it? Yeah, exactly. Just found out too, man. Alright then. Xio scratched her short, rough blonde hair and she helplessly replied. While the two of them were fretting about this, a new message from Mr. A came to them from the private communication channel. He told them not to look for him, but to deposit the rest of the money in a separate, anonymous accounts at different banks. Xio and Fors breathed a sigh of relief in unison. Mr. A suddenly laughed before he started having... Wait, what? That's crazy. My page just... page just skipped twice for some reason. In a basement that was as wide as a temple, really, Mr. A, wearing a hooded black robe, was kneeling in the darkness, murmuring something reverently. In front of him was a 3-meter statue of a man hanging upside down with his legs chained up. Oh, the hanged man, or as in the true creator. Statue of the true creator. Like, he looks like the hanged man picture, right? This hanged man had a giant, unique single vertical eye, and his arms were stretched out horizontally, forming a cross. Yep. At this moment, a man with a black robe came in with a humble reported, Mr. A, I've already sent the news. Well done, Mr. A said without turning his head. The man in the black robe asked curiously, "Why don't you let us investigate who commissioned this mission?" Mr. A lowered his head and said with an indifferent tone, "There's no need. We must remember that this is a critical moment. We will cause the chaos throughout the continent, try our best to attract the attention of others, and use these to welcome the return of our Lord." Mr. A suddenly laughed before he started having a fit of coughing. It was so serious that he felt reclined. They coughed out of blood-colored fragments which continued skirming after falling to the ground as if they were alive. What did this murmurs do? What the hell? What did the murmurs do to him? What did he listen from the true crater? Which continued skirming after falling to the ground as if it were alive. The man in the black robe immediately lowered his head, pretending as though he had seen nothing. After quite some time, Mr. A finally calmed down. Is he like taking Bakerland's ability as a shepherd? After quite some time, Mr. A finally calmed down. He crawled forward, his mouth pressed against the ground as he licked all the colored fragments that he had coughed up back into his mouth. Disgusting. Okay, I'm guessing he's just, because there are a bunch of lunatics. This might not have anything to do with Bakerland. That's just what happens when you pray to the true creator or something, and hearing the murmurs from the true creator. Also, the blood thing was a lie, but I think this is like the blood-colored fragments. Like, I don't think we should overthink about them. It was just blood that moves. I don't know. What is this voice acting? What do you mean? Hillsborough Borough, 126 New Year Street. Relaxed Klein. Oh, this is like a different hideout, right? The relaxed Klein didn't tail Dorego Gale this time. Said he chose his mistress Erica Taylor. After all, alternate two to clap. He needs a picture, by the way. He needs a picture of them, like, having the intercourse. The pretty blonde with the intricate makeup arrived early at the Kuela Club via the rental carriage. Klein, who carried a suitcase containing a portable camera and also the disguises, followed her in. Are there any more rooms to rest in? Wearing the club's frost badge on his chest, he asked the elegant maid responsible for receiving quests today. Okay, this location is the Titty Club and not the second hideout. My bad. Just evil god stuff happening. Exactly. The maid wearing a black and white dress politely smiled. Yes, please. Follow the attendant upstairs. Klein nodded slightly, followed the red-vested attendant up on the stairs and arrived at the second floor, just in time to see Erica Taylor enter a lounge that faced the streets. Do you want to see the passersby on the street or the tennis court out back? The red-vested attendant asked politely. Let's do the street, Klein answered casually in a deliberate manner. Who asks that, though? Like, if you go to a hotel or whatever, this is like a clubhouse or whatever, right? But who asks, do you like the view on the street or the view on tennis courts? Usually you ask, like, oh, do you like the double bed room or... Interesting, yeah. As to the street, Klein answered casually in a deliberate manner. Under the arrangements of the red-vested attendant, he and Erica Taylor's room was separated by 2 rooms, and they could also see the street outside the club. How to take a picture later? Should I find a place to sneak in and hide in the room? Or maybe you can, like, use spirit, like going outside your body, and somehow take the camera with you, and then take a picture outside the window. That's what I'm thinking. And hide in the room, or climb out of the window and travel across the pipes. Neither of these methods. I mean, the pipes he can do that because he's a clown, so he can balance quite easily, right? Neither of these methods can conceal that exaggerated flash, but the latter can be disguised as a vogue shot from outside that won't bring suspicion to me, and I won't be kicked out. However, this will be easily noticed by Dorago and Erica. Use a charm to put them to sleep. No, it won't be convincing enough. It has to be a picture of them doing the deed. Yeah, I know, right? It has to be them doing intercourse. That's crazy to me, man. There's only one chance, and I have to take it well enough. This is my field of expertise, as I'm not some artistic master. There's old Neil. He will definitely attempt to conjure a new ritualistic magic to hide the camera flash. Oh, Uncle Neil mentioned, man, the quote. Of course, the goddess might not respond to his request. As Klein considered his next move, he saw the image of Miss Bodyguard appear in silver mirror in the room. She was still wearing her black gothic regal dress and her matching soft hat. Her hair was pale blonde in color with delicate features across her pale face. Do we have a way of hiding the flash of the camera? Klein asked casually. Imagine, dude. No, username, exactly. Yeah, I am. Problem? I like how the bodyguard was like, nope, I'm gonna stay 2 more days because that's the money you paid for me. Before he could finish his sentence, he saw ripples on the surface of the silver mirror. The slightly transparent palm suddenly extended. His bodyguard came out the silver mirror like a ghost and walked in front of Klein and said, with a nod, yes? She lowered her body and leaned over, slowly fusing into the camera lens. Oh my god, really? That's so cool. What pathway is she on? Maybe apprentice? Maybe apprentice, actually, because she can like freely like be like spirit walking, like Chilangos mentioned, the Fors escaping. Fors has a bracelet from a high sequence apprentice pathway sequence, right? That can also like, you know, I forgot the name. What was it called? Let me check the notes. Let me convey the notes for a second. Consult the notes, sorry. Traveler. Traveler, maybe? I think it was called Spirit Walker. Wasn't it called Spirit Walker? Like Spirit World Walker? Spirit Guide. Oh, I mixed up Sleepless. Sorry. I think. Like Walker or something. Traveler, yeah. Maybe she's a traveler. She lowered her body and leaned over, slowly fusing into the camera lens. Klein's mouth slightly open as he watched this horrifying scene. Then quite a while to recover from his shock, he picked up his portable camera and tried a test shot in his lounge. The effect was beyond his expectations. The flash was limited to the vicinity of the camera, and the resulting image was also quite good. I see. Spirit Walker sounds good, yeah. Like Nightwalker. Oh my god, maybe I was thinking about Nightwalker and then I used Nightwalker and Spirit Guide together or something, I don't know. The camera tried to test a shot in his lounge. And the effect was beyond his expectations. The flash was limited to only vicinity of the camera, and the returning image was also quite good. Perhaps it should now be called a spectral camera. Klein lampooned. The legendary lampoon, okay. Took the camera, went to the window and patiently waited. And not long after, he saw Dorago Gale arrive with a carriage. In the other room, Erica Taylor saw her lover and hastily left the lounge to meet him on the first floor. Klein seized the opportunity to use a tarot card to open her room, carefully hiding in the cupboard while the extra sheets and quills were kept. Darkness around him reminded him of the previous night, of that creepy and terrifying Numblerit master Rosago. Rosago was a fraud for real though. I mean, he didn't expect Klein to like beat him and have a bodyguard, but if it was like Klein was instead Rosago in Rosago's shoes, I feel like he could have been more careful and thought out, you know? Last night was filled with danger, yet today here I am watching adult terrors in the act. Life sure is marvelous. While Klein was making fun of himself, he heard the door open. His room door or the door downstairs? Also, I feel like a lot of people are jealous of Klein right now. I don't know why, not me. You know, some people are like that, but not me. Anyway, so I guess this chapter was focused on Klein going back to his detective job, right? And also Audrey's thoughts and a little bit about Mr. A as well, which was not as information filled, but it sets up the next chapter. So let's go to 255 right now. Photography expert. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'll say hi to my mom and then we're gonna continue. I'm gonna add in the meantime though. Back. I am back. Continue, guys. Hello, Lucy. You missed the best stream yesterday. Yesterday was absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. Like the best stream I ever had. Most fun I ever had as well. Not yesterday, sorry. A few days ago. The previous Lord of Mystery stream, I mean. Photography expert huddled in the cupboard. Client secretly activated spirit vision and saw two interfering auras enter. Erica, I brought you a present, a deep voice sounded as the door closed. Do they do intercourse every time they meet, by the way? In the Koala Club? This sounds kinda excessive, no? As expected, he's a gentleman of the Loan Kingdom. Even in an affair, he seems a little old-fashioned. If it was a man from Intis, he will definitely be shouting, "Sweetheart, baby, angel," and the like. Lion couldn't help but lampoon. Back-to-back lampoon, by the way. Back-to-back lampoon. When did it start from? 254. Of course, this was based on the stereotypes from newspapers, magazines, and novels. Erica Taylor asked in surprise, "Let me guess, is it Fussman eye cream, face cream, or essence, or Leschini's? What the heck are those?" Klein was stunned by what he heard. That's just the woman stuff, I guess. It was clear that Kale wasn't able to react in time either. It took him about 8 seconds before he said, "No, stockings." Oh, what a gentleman. In this world, since oil hasn't been discovered, there were no corresponding cheap chemical products. Therefore, silk stockings were considered high-class items. Interesting how Klein says oil hasn't been discovered. I mean, yeah, that's ambiguous in English, but, you know, Rosell said oil doesn't exist, right? Yeah, so it can't be discovered. But I have a theory, and I'm going to say it again. I think there's oil in the Forsaken Land of Gods, right? Not bad, let me take a look. Erica joy didn't diminish. I bought them yesterday at Phillips, one bear for 30 soli. A total of 5 bears, Torago said in a flaunting tone. Wait, isn't it just weird? Or to me, or why is Philip saying the price of the stockings? When you give a gift to a person or like a person you like, do you say a price of the gift? I don't think you do you? Right? I don't think you do. Anyway. How expensive? That's expensive. 30 soli, 5 bears. 30 times 5, 150 soli. That's, okay, so 20 soli is 1 pound. Quick maths, that's like 8 pounds, 7 pounds, 6 or 7 pounds. He's bragging to his girlfriend, dude. How expensive? That's expensive. Eric and Klein both said the same thing, one exclaiming, the other secretly sighing. Benson had worked for so many years, earning only 1 pound 10 soli a week, which is 30 soli. That's just equivalent to a pair of stockings. Imagine like spending your week wage on like a pair of stockings. That's crazy. And with that salary, he was able to provide his brother and sister with an education, feed them fairly well, and even provided them with a place to sleep. An average worker with a bit of skill would only be paid around 20 soli a week. Klein clicked his tongue. Yeah, expensive. No, it's not expensive. Silk stockings are not worth that much. I even gave an extra tip of 5 soli as he spoke the color of his aura. Oh my god, even he gave 5 soli as a tip, bro. Why are you mentioning that? She spoke of his aura turned more vivid, and Klein guessed that he had been taken off his coat. Then I give it a try, Erica Taylor softly said in a suggestive manner. Oh god. I feel like I'm watching a porno again, and it's not even it's even a live broadcast. Besides, Miss Bodyguard is also here. The corner of Klein's mouth twitched as he watched the red colors flowing across red colors, signifying the passion between the two was igniting like fire. That's crazy. The purple color is almost red and isn't stopping. Red wrapped around green, orange, while listening to the wheezing and the low laughter. Klein judged the movements and positions of the couple outside by the change in the color of their auras. Oh my god. Oh my god. So, feeling that this was enough, Klein silently pushed open the cupboard. opened the cupboard door and looked in the direction of the bed. Oh my god. Drago and Erica were already entangled. Their clothes half all down, their movements intense. Man, lying just in the cupboard, like, taking a picture, you know? That's so funny, dude. Klein lifted the Spectre camera and aimed at the passionate couple, waiting to see their faces at the same time. As Drago and Erica fell back onto the bed, Klein finally captured the most appropriate frame and pressed the shutter button. The click of the camera wasn't distinct, and the intense flash and other opportunities were limited to a very small area, so the couple wasn't alarmed. Slowly goes back to the cupboard, by the way. The click, with no confidence in his photography skills, Klein added a few more shots, intending to have options to choose from later. Are you sure, or is this saving a picture, my guy? Was only planning on handling this employer a single picture because too many photos would make the lawyer suspect why the couple didn't notice him taking the picture. A piece of underwear. A piece of what the fuck? Landed lightly on the floor, and the sound of breathing intensified as Klein grabbed his portable camera and adaptively rolled out of the cupboard, closing the door behind. Imagine him rolling in the floor towards the fucking door. He rolled on the floor until he reached the lounge's door. Then he quietly pulled it open and returned to the corridor. Done! With a sigh of relief, Klein politely closed the door in silence. Pressed his hand to his chest and bowed in the direction of the bed. Why? Oh god. I can't, bro. You think so, username? Oh my god. Underwear jump scare. Little explaining how to take a pic of NTR couple. Yeah, like this, explaining, like bringing down the thing and everything. Anyway. The last £7 will soon be obtained, and also earned an additional Goela Club membership worth £50. It covers part lodging and entertainment that's worth even more than £50. Without any connections or contracts, I won't have been able to join this. Even with £100, this mission isn't bad at all. It's simple, safe, and profitable. Klein put down his portable camera and sighed with the emotion in his heart. At that moment, oh, sorry. Why did I say handy, man? Fuck me. At that moment, a hand suddenly stretched out from the camera lens. Miss Bodyguard in her black regal dress slowly came out and floated in the mid-air again, but her face remained pale. Think of how he had led her to watch some... Oh no. Klein tried to change the topic in embarrassment. I plan on heading the cafeteria to eat something. Do you want to come with me? Each member could bring one guest. As for how to explain the sudden appearance of a guest, Klein's plan was to go out for a while and then come back. Miss Bodyguard let bloody neutral down. I can go without eating for 2 weeks. Why? As she spoke, she turned her back to Klein and floated toward the mirror, disappearing in an instant. What exactly is her sequence? Klein thought curiously, putting the portable camera back in its case. After doing all of this, he went to the bathroom and relieved himself. After washing his hands and wiping his face, relieved himself how? Anyway, I'm gonna stop. After washing his hands and wiping his face, Klein looked into the mirror and examined his appearance. As he hadn't shaved this morning, he had quite a stubble. His hair was parted to the sides in a 3:7 ratio, and a pair of gold-rimmed glasses hung on his face. He looked refined and scholarly, with a tinge of maturity. There's a definite difference from the past. I can still be recognized if scrutinized. Once my beard grows to a certain extent, I won't have to worry that much. I won't need to be afraid of anything when I at once sequence 6 faceless. Yeah, true, because you can transform and hide your identity. Klein took out his golden pocket watch, opened it, and walked into the bathroom. He took his suitcase and went to the cafeteria on the first floor. It was just after 9, so breakfast was still served. Klein chose a double-sided, half-cooked fried egg. What does it mean, double-sided egg, by the way? A loaf of white bread, a cake of butter, a tessie pie, a serving of bacon, a cup of Marquise black tea, with a piece of lemon floating on its surface. While looking for a seat, I only saw a familiar face. It was the surgeon who had recommended him to the collab, Aaron Cerise. The tall, thin gentleman was sitting alone in the corner, having finished his breakfast and was sipping his coffee. Thank you, angry Mr. Apple. Angry Mr. Apple. That's my older brother, by the way, in the second room. Why is there a chapter of Klein doing detective work, and for the first time there's like he has to catch like a cheating act, and my brother is watching in another room? That's crazy. Thank you so much, angry Mr. Apple. While looking for a seat, I suddenly saw a familiar face. It was a surgeon. Oh, yeah. The tall, thin gentleman was sitting alone in the corner, having finished his breakfast and was sipping his coffee as he leafed through the newspaper. Good morning, Dr. Ceres. Klein walked over and greeted him, the slightly cold Aaron. The surgeon nudged the frame of his nose and said, "Just call me Aaron, Detective Moriarty. According to the principle of reciprocity, we're gonna learn again, guys. Time to learn new words. The practice of exchanging things with others.
Reciprocity.
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 I see. So the principle of reciprocity, you have to call me Sherlock. Klein sat down. Any news today? Sherlock? Oh yeah, Sherlock Moriarty. I was like, for a second, this is the first time I think Klein has introduced himself as just by his first name, so I was confused. Klein sat down. Any news today? I came out in such a hurry that I haven't read the newspaper. Then this ambassador was assassinated. A terrorist organization by the name of Aurora Order declared responsibility for it. This world is becoming more and more chaotic. Sooner or later there will be all-out war in northern continent. Aaron expressed his feelings. That's what the Aurora want, by the way. That's what the Aurora want, to cause chaos. The war has never stopped, sir. It's just that we've been able to enjoy peace. Klein finished his fried egg and replied with a smile. What a pity that such an important case won't seek the help of a private detectives like us. Aaron flipped through the newspaper. This news doesn't have much to do with us. What's really important is that House of Lords and the House of Commons will pass a motion either today or tomorrow. After a long debate. The first is the Civil Servant Unified Examination Bill. Oh, that Audrey introduced, yeah. As well as the relevant guidance and actual plans. Second is the establishment of the Atmospheric Pollution Council. And third is the establishment of the Independent Alkaline Industry Inspector. The other two involve pollution. Thank God, the smoke outside the city or inside the city of Falkland is so, like, makes me sick, right? Whenever I read about the smoke and there's a cold and like hue to it, I'm like, ugh. God, they're finally paying attention to this problem. The patients in the hospital with pulmonary attacks have been rising constantly. I mean, at one point, like if you don't get rid of the smoke, everyone will die of lung cancer, right? Has it finally been passed? I wonder how Benson preparations are. I hope Benson like wins the exam, guys. I'm so like happy if he does. Will it be affected by my death? Klein's smile suddenly beamed. That's good news. To marry is extremely good news. She wishes to make herself or her husband Torago become one of the members of the National Atmospheric Pollution Council. She has a higher chance since she doesn't hold any positions in a commercial company and is a devotee of the goddess. Besides, in any organization there's ultimately a need for balance. Aaron mentioned Klein's employer. I suggest to her that she should frequent the club since we have quite a number of House of Commons members of Parliament as club members. Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. The smoke of Buckland Backland is insane. Exactly. The novels increase my vocabulary. Yep. In the Lower Kingdom, the members of Parliament of the House of Commons were mainly composed of wealthy people and the representatives of certain nobles. However, there were also many professionals such as doctors, lawyers, priests, teachers, scientists, and accountants. The Quella Club targeted a variety of professionals in the middle class without distinguishing between them by their political inclinations. I see. Klein didn't know much about such things, so he just said a few words in response before changing the subject. Aaron, it's Friday today. Don't you need to head back to the hospital? No, I'm on leave. It's been terrible lately. Aaron suddenly frowned. What happened? Klein drank a mouthful of black tea. Since Bakerland had just been assassinated and Rosago's body had been thrown into the sewer far away, I didn't know when it would be found. Klein was concerned about the after effects and the imperfection of his disguise, so he didn't plan on taking missions that were too difficult or easily exposed his identity. Therefore, he was interested in simple matters which held potential and handsome rewards. In Intis, the live in castle called nobles. What did you say? I don't understand what you said. Therefore, he was interested in simple matters which held potential and handsome rewards. Aaron put down the newspaper and sighed. I've been very unlucky recently. I've had a few consecutive failed surgeries. Fortunately, there were no serious consequences, otherwise my license would be revoked. Damn, okay. Although it wasn't big news for surgeons who caused deaths in the present era since it was common, the penalties were still quite severe if a serious accident occurred to the surgeon's negligence. Well, I can't help much. Well, actually, I know of a luck enchantment ritual, but its effect is to send you above the grey fog. Very funny. Ben lowered his head and began to nibble at his bread. After brekkie, he said goodbye to Aaron, went to withdraw £500 in cash and gave £300 to Miss Bodyguard before returning home. While waiting for the photos to develop, he... Are you gonna keep one for yourself? He hoped for a simple job to be entrusted to him. Unfortunately, one of them came to him. In the evening, Klein prepared to head out again, his target, Bravehearts Bar. Taking the opportunity of having Miss Bodyguard around, he hoped to get in touch with more Beyonder circles. Good luck. Okay, so the adult two-year detective work concluded. It was absolute cinema, by the way. Absolute cinema. We didn't make any theories this chapter, but we will run an ad and continue with 256 in a second here. I just woke up, nice. Woke up to peak, exactly. How's the music, by the way? Is it loud? Okay, Mr. Angry Apple. That's funny. Perfect. Okay, let's continue. Meeting the Apothecary. Oh my god, the title just spoiled me, man. I told you the Apothecary is gonna come back to the story. He went to Backland where Klein is. Before leaving the house, Klein tossed a coin to inquire if it was unbeneficial for him to visit the Bravehearts Bar that day. After receiving a negative result, he looked around before whispering to the air, "Is someone monitoring me today?" After a few seconds of silence, Miss Bodyguard's ethereal voice suddenly sounded from behind him. "No." Klein subsequently looked back, but he failed to find Miss Bodyguard. His attention quickly returned to the answer he received as he couldn't help but let out a snicker in his heart. MI9 isn't even putting me on their suspect list at all. After confirming that Rosago hadn't sought me out, they completely put me aside. Should I feel should I feel honored or insulted? It's true the detective that busies himself looking for cats has no way of being associated with the assassination of an ambassador or getting rid of Sequence 5 expert. I mean, Rosago was a fraud, man. I mean, I can't believe he wasn't more careful. Furthermore, MI9 has been monitoring me for quite some time. My panic, my helplessness, and my struggle for self-preservation were laid out for them to see. It's obvious that I can't inflict any substantial harm to the ambassador. With that in mind, Klein put on his half-top hat, carried his black silver inlaid cane, and walked out of the 15 Minsk Street. He spent 2 solly for a rental carriage that brought him to Bravehearts Bar on Iron Cage Street in the Backland Bridge area. He entered like a regular, walked past the cheering drunkards around the boxing ring, and rapped the counter-top when he came to the bar counter. 1 glass of Southfield beer. The bar then looked out at him and mumbled, "Casper's in the card room 3. While Klein smiled and pushed 5 one-penny copper coins to the man. Then carrying the wooden cup and sipping a white, smooth, frothy Southfield beer. I just spit everywhere, man. Those like sentences were so hard to say in a row. White, smooth, frothy Southfield beer. He walked down 2 of the rowdiest, liveliest stages that stank the most, and knocked on the door of card room 3. Casper's was playing Texas poker with unlimited stakes. Stacks of cash were piled up high in front of him. Ooh, he's good at poker, as well as yellow coins that piled up in a dazzling heap. Noticing Klein's case, the black market arms dealer with a huge scar on his face twitched with his big red nose and casually said, "Oh, he's drunk. I don't like using ships as they don't feel real to me. It's still the texture of cash and the weight of coins that leaves me intoxicated. It's the same as fucking woman." Who asked? Randomly. Jeez, Caspers. After finishing that sentence, Caspers frowned slightly. Wait, what? Wait, are you saying that it's the same as fucking woman, as in you don't like fucking woman, or what? Okay, whatever, this guy, man. What are you doing here again? Klein didn't answer. What are you doing here again? Klein didn't answer directly, but he gestured with his mouth to speak outside. Damn it! I was going to clean them off with my hand. Bullshit, I'm folding. Caspers tossed the 2 cards in front of him into the middle of the table. Then he limped to the door and said to Klein, "You'd better have a good reason." Casper's in a really bad mood, by the way. Really bad mood. Really, really bad mood. Rosago almost killed both of them. Yeah, true. What's Gilby saying, man? Are you okay, Gilby? Casper tossed the 2 cards. Yep. After leaving the card room and coming to the corner, Klein said in a suppressed voice, "I want to know when the most recent gathering will be, just like the last one." Casper looked at him suspiciously. "Haven't you struck a deal with Marek?" "It's not about hiring bodyguards. Regarding that, you know, I'm very interested in it." Klein was telling the truth. Casper hesitated and then said, "There will be gathering tonight. The organizer is the same person as last time, but you'll have to wait for more than half an hour. I'll inform you first. You showed your reputation last time, so I don't think there's too much of a problem." "No problem, I'll pay you." Klein touched the bills in his pocket. "You just need to pay £1 this time." Casper acted like he was very generous. "It's worth it," Klein said as the corners of his lips curled up. After paying Casper's, he found a seat and sat down, drinking the rich malt-scented Southfield beer and enjoying the competition of the ring. I'm so confused. What are you guys saying in chat, by the way? Is Nguyen angry Mr. Apple? No. Angry Mr. Apple is angry Mr. Apple. My older brother is angry Mr. Apple. Why is everyone confused, bro? Can you stop being confused? People saying random shit and then it's a chain effect where people get confused and then other people get confused and everyone is confused, so everyone loses, man. Jesus. I can beat and take them down at the same time. Klein quickly came to his conclusion. Why did he say that way? Oh, okay. Klein is saying that he can beat down the boxers on the stage, by the way. After about 10 minutes, Caspers returned to the bar, looked around and said in a low voice, "They agreed. We'll head there half an hour. Holy load of storms, I hope you haven't forgotten that mask." Klein gave a positive answer. He slowed down his drinking as he began sipping. It took half an hour to finish the 500 milliliters of Southfield beer. It was the same path they took as the previous time, and it was the same house without any light. Klein put on the iron mask that only covered half of his face, and he watched as Caspers knocked on the door rhythmically. The rhythm is different from last time. The knocking changes all the time. Oh, like... Klein listened carefully for a moment and saw the small... It's probably like Morse code or something. then saw the small plank of the door open and pair of eyes peer out. After the indistinguishable process like before, he put on the hooded robe and hid his entire face into shadows. It was still the same living room with a candle flickering in the dim light. Klein randomly found a seat and quietly sat down. Unlike before, he no longer felt suppressed or tensed. Instead, he leisurely looked around. Bro is calm as hell, dude. Aura. The gold wind that blew across the back of his neck made him certain that his bodyguard had followed him in without anyone noticing. As expected, there are... Oh my god, the bodyguard has so much aura, by the way. As expected, there are no Sequence 5 experts in this gathering. There might not even be a Sequence 6, Klein thought. After listening in on the conversation for a while, he saw the round-faced apothecary change his posture as he wanted to speak. Is it the same fucking apothecary? By the way, we have an apothecary from Tingen before, and we have an apothecary here. The title was meeting the apothecary again. I don't think they're the two same people. I don't think he had a big round face, the one in Tingen. So maybe it's not the same apothecary, but it might be. In his posture as well as he wanted to speak. As expected, the apothecary, who had half of his chubby face exposed, quickly raised his hand and said, "Black Snake has apparently died in the sewers. Those beasts are still rampant." Black Snake died? Klein was surprised to hear the news. Oh, Black Snake is the guy who took the job. Did the rats kill him? No way the rats killed him. There's no freaking way, like, no fucking way the rats killed him, bro. Black Snake was the man who had sold him the remains of Listener, allowing him to successfully carry the language of foulness. It was suspected that he was from the Aurora Order. Oh, his rank wasn't low at all, yet he actually died performing the simple mission of clearing the beasts in the sewer. What if he, like, tripped and hit his head or some shit? No, that's not gonna be that easy. It's gonna be someone murdered him, right? Ryan frowned suspiciously. He suddenly thought of something. Imagine losing to rats. When he discovered Cyril's corpse, he had heard thumping sounds deep in the sewers. By the time he let Ian there, the parts of Cyril's body had been eaten by a strange beast. That was at the bottom of Iron Carbon Street in the East Borough, quite far from Backland Bridge area. I wonder if there's a connection. Klein had no impulse to verify this. What if the beast or the thumping that Klein heard is like a Beyonder who has lost control and then killed Black Snake, right? News of Black Snake's death quickly spread through the dark room, attracting the murmurs of many. A sense of fear spread through them as though they had experienced it themselves. The apothecary clapped his hand and said, "Oh, so what I should do? What I should do?" The whisper suddenly disappeared and froze. Silence filled the room. As the apothecary had advised him without being afraid of offending him, Klein thought for a moment and said, "If I were you, I will gear up on the rest of the herbs and never go there again." "Why? They'll mature very soon, and those beasts that hide in the depths of the sewers usually won't come out." The apothecary asked hesitantly. Klein deliberately said in a hoarse voice, "Black Snake likely has an organization backing him. His death definitely will have caused an investigation. I believe you don't want to interact with them, right?" Having the remains of a Listener didn't imply that the Black Snake was an Aura Order member. By referring to the crew creator as a great being, this was confirmed. Exactly. Moreover, he would rather believe that this was the case rather than a hope for a fluke. Yeah. The apothecary nodded slightly, seemingly having made up his mind. Klein added, "If I were you, I would even anonymously report this matter to the police." "What?" Many gathering members exclaimed. I mean, Klein is always like one step ahead, right? Of a lot of people. That's what, but like, because Klein is smart, like reporting to the police might be a smart thing. Klein explained without a change in tone, since the beast in the sewers can kill a Black Snake, it means that they were very dangerous. And since everyone lives in Backland, it really causes a major catastrophe if it's hard to guarantee that we won't be implicated. That's why the best option is to attract the attention of the police and let the official handle this matter. We can enjoy a good outcome without any risks. Isn't that nice? Just as he finished his sentence, the old gentleman, Eye of Wisdom, applauded. "Such a great idea. We're afraid of the official Beyonders, but similarly we can make use of them. You don't have to handle everything on our own. That's because I was an official Beyonder, so my train of thought will definitely be different from pure savages like you. No way, Klein called them savages. What the fuck? No way. That's because I was an official. Yeah. Klein smiled as he lampooned. Is this 3 chapters in a row that he has been lampooning? After striking, Vivek must bystander again, listening to people peddling or requesting for items. As he watched the deals which succeed or failed, he found nothing of interest. He temporarily didn't announce the Beyonder ingredients he needed, planning to observe the circle of Beyonders a few more times. Second turned to minutes, and finally Eye of Wisdom arranged for people to leave every 3 minutes. Klein was the first one to leave the previous time, so he didn't know what happened next. Wow. He noticed that there were at least 5 exits. The attendants of the Eye of Wisdom would lead different people to different passages, trying their best to space them out and drag out time. After more than half an hour, there were only 3 members of the gathering left. Apart from Eye of Wisdom, the other 2 were Klein and the suspected Apothecary. Eye of Wisdom looked at Klein and laughed with his aged voice. Looks like you're quite lucky. He recognized me as the man who had bought the ominous item from Black Snake. Klein smiled. Yes, my bet paid off. I mean, 10% chance. You must be a really big clown to buy that, by the way, and Campbell. You know what I mean? But you know, Klein had the idea to use the grey fog, and yeah, of course that worked, right? Hearing the conversation, the apothecary widened his eyes and examined Klein. After a long time, he finally said, "Do you have another mystical charm that affects luck? I already regarded you as a dead person." "You're so direct," Klein tactfully answered. "Maybe I'm lucky enough myself." I mean, he did do the lucky ritual. Actually, I did want such an item. Eye of Wisdom sighed and said, "Young lad, don't always bet on your luck, especially on matters such as this. Even if you won many times in the past, just one loss will doom you for eternity. I know that's why I've come to this gathering, to see if I can buy any useful items." "Heh, I can be considered the same as all of you," Klein said, seemingly casual. "Same," the apothecary. "Same?" The apothecary gave an exaggerated sigh. Such a hard word, man. As like a non-native speaker. 1 second. Exaggerated pronunciation? It's not? How could you look at this and say it's not, you dumbass? Anyway.
Exaggerated.
Exaggerated sigh. I should have listened to my teacher. Teacher, he seems to be a suspected apothecary. The apothecary pathway is controlled by the Church of Earth Mother and Life School of Thought. So, remember in Tingen there were 2. There was an apothecary in Tingen who was like the boss man, and then there was like a student for that boss man. Maybe he's the student. There's life of School of Thought process down their teachings through mentoring. Klein's heart skipped a beat and asked curiously, "Why do you say that?" The apothecary sighed and said, My teacher told me to choose a path that would make one sufficiently lucky, but in the end I still became a medicine concoctor. As a result, I haven't been able to find the next batch of potion ingredients for the sequence for a whole 2 years. I'm envious of your luck. Make one sufficiently lucky. This is very similar to the sequence pathway for monster. Yeah, sequence 7 lucky, right? He released from the life of School of Thought. Klein smiled and said, "What's your reason for choosing it?" The apothecary suddenly straightened his back and said, "This is a man's choice. After knowing that I can concoct medicine to enhance my ability in that field, I chose this path without hesitation." Interesting. Interesting. I wonder if there's like a Beyonder item. I mean, there is from that makes you more lucky, right? Because they were trying to like sell it last time to Klein to higher his chances of the mysterious the ear of listener. What is that reason for a pathway? I know, right? Apothecary L. Anyway, 2081. It's a new artifact, Beyonder artifact. It's really close to the 2049. W reason. You always say the opposite, man. Every single time. For the godlike reason, after hearing the apothecary's answer, Klein was able to control the changes in his expression despite being a clown. Come on, laugh out loud. Laugh out loud, Klein. Fortunately, he was wearing an iron mask over his face. The apothecary didn't notice the reactions Klein and Eye of Wisdom had and began to let his hair down. That's why I really like Packland. There's lots of prostitutes prowling in the streets, hanging outside music halls, theaters, waiting in the streets and alleys. They're either professionals or working part-time. They were originally maidservants or workers, each with different flavors. You're fucking insane. You were actually the creepiest piece of shit ever, man. Imagine like going so much in detail. Is that what that is? It's said that it's said that in places in the West Borough, bankrupt aristocrat ladies might occasionally appear. The city is something to look forward to. Klein nudged the iron mask that covered his face upwards and quickly changed the topic. Of course. Did your teacher have any objections to your choice? The apothecary shook his head slightly. No, he just kicked me out of the damn door after teaching me all the knowledge in the field of herbs. Aiming to roam the world and experience life. Damn it, he didn't even tell me where to find the next potion ingredients. At this point, the apothecary looked at Klein and added, if you know where to obtain spring of the elves' marrow crystals, please do tell me. I think Klein needs that as well, no? I'll pay you for it. Of course, you can also first buy it and then sell it to me for a higher price. You're a lucky guy who knows who you might help fulfill my wish. Unprompted, bro folded under zero pressure. Alright, Klangashvili agreed. He then asked thoughtfully, when that happens, can I use it to exchange for the potion formula for Apothecary? Ooh, because Clint needs it, right? From his point of view, the apothecary was very useful as support. He could use it to groom helpers. Bro said groom, what the fuck? The apothecary wasn't considered too fat. Who wasn't considered too fat? What is that description? Quickly shook his head and said, no way. I can only teach my students. Come on, client, become a student. In this rule of life, school of thoughts, he might have made an oath with some secret existence as a witness. Klein wasn't surprised. At this moment, the apothecary let out a laugh. But I can tell you where you can find the apothecary formula. It's right here in Backland. Brilliant! Klein was pleasantly surprised. Realizing that Eye of Wisdom was about to send him off, he hurriedly asked, Mr. Apothecary, do you have any medication to treat mental disorders and other problems? What are you schizo or something? Klein was acting for Miss Bodyguard to make her feel more assured, having been slightly influenced by the true creator and becoming a potential lunatic, that he was desperately trying to find a cure. Yes, there's a sedative 10 soli for one. I'll bring you 4 in the next gathering. Trust me, this is definitely much more useful than the ones in the hospitals. I added some materials with spirituality. The apothecary replied without hesitation. Sherlock needs a Watson after all, imagine. Wrong kind of grooming on my bed. How expensive in the underground market of Tingen, a number of sedatives that originate from the hospitals range from 1 to 2 soli, while the variety that leaked from the Nighthawks, Mad Punishers and the Machinery High Mind ranged from 4 to 5 soli. As this thought flashed through his mind, Klein put on a show, looked at the Eye of Wisdom and said, Dear sir, may I attend the next gathering? Yes, your last 2 performances are a proof of your goodwill, young lad. Watch out for the Backland Morning Post daily when there's an advertisement for the purchase of goods by the Ernst firm on the 5th page. It means that there will be a meeting here at 8 o'clock the next evening. The strength and the frequency of the knocking is based on the prices listed. Oh! The first number is the number of heavy strikes, the second number is the number of light strikes, the third number is the number of long pauses, and the fourth number is the number of short pauses. The rest are meaningless. Eye of Wisdom said with a nod. I see, that's interesting. After describing the information, he sighed and said, "Oh, the lives of Beyonders who are neither official or part of an organization aren't as nice as you imagine. On the one hand, we have to keep secrets, avoid the officials, and at any time have to maintain a cautious and careful state. On the other hand, we have to fight against the possibility of losing control and madness. Too many of our kind died because of these two matters." Interesting. Even if he successfully evade the officials' notice and avoid losing control and going crazy, he will still fall into the predicament of lacking ingredients and the inability to find items. We want to obtain sufficient knowledge, organize such a gathering to get everyone to help each other. Unfortunately, it is an era of scarce mysteries. Many Beyonder ingredients are rarely seen. Yeah, that's why this guy is... Apothecary guy is looking for like 2 years, right? Because we have Audrey, we have a tarot club where everyone is has info. Info is moving fast, and also, I mean, a lot of Beyonders have like Beyonder circles, but I think it's a skill issue, right? Apothecary, not Apothecary, the tarot club on top always. Yes, but I have Mr. Hanged Man who knows the coordinates of some of the primitive islands, and City of Silver the Sun, who is constantly fighting against the various monsters in the depths of the darkness. I can rely on them to obtain some of them beyond their ingredients. Klein but lightly stood up with his back bent as he bowed to Eye of Wisdom. "Your character is admirable." As sitting down again, Klein suddenly remembered something and asked after some deliberation, "Gentlemen, do you have any mystical items? The kind of black snake sold me, but once without too serious negative effects. I wish to have some sort of ability to protect myself." Also, Klein usually doesn't like post like this. Like, he doesn't like post as in like it's not really talkative in these meetings. He's only doing that because he's like talking like a clown. Like, you know how clowns go, Klein clown. Do you know how clowns go like, "Ladies and gentlemen, today's performance, blah blah blah," right? He's doing the same thing. His plan was to find something that caught his interest, determine the price, and then determine the target accordingly. However, I don't have any money right now, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't have any in the future. Can I make an inquiry about the price without money? Klein suddenly added in his heart. The apothecary spread out his hands, indicating that he didn't have any, and even if he did, he won't sell them. Eye of Wisdom chuckled and I said, "I do have some, but I don't know what you would like to buy. Give me an approximate range." Some, he's most likely a savant pathway beyond the horizon, external items. Oh yeah, he's what's he called? Klein was guessing he's observer, right? Not observer. Appraiser. Some is most likely a savant, yeah, exactly. Something, Klein didn't hide his envy, as he said, something stronger than me, not something that improves my combat skills. It's best if it has some mystical power. So, basically, appraiser. Okay, Aurora, you, like, grammar genius.
Appraiser.
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 Appraiser. Klein wants a Beyonder artifact from higher level. He didn't go into details as to maintain his image as a newcomer. Eye of Wisdom smiled and said, I have an item that suits your requirements. Its former code name was 2081. 2081, Klein asked, puzzled. His puzzlement was just disguised on the surface, but on the inside he was very shocked. Oh, isn't that doll that came out? How did you get that? Is that a sealed artifact that leaked out from the Chinese gate of the Church of Evernight? Klein didn't expect to see a familiar codename here. Eye of Wisdom casually explained simply, many mystical items have rather obvious side effects that can cause certain harm. Therefore, the 7 Orthodox churches will seek them out and seal them. They're called sealed artifacts and are distinguished using numbers as code names. Yeah, we know. Over a period of debate and exchange, the 7 churches formed a uniform naming convention. It labels the different danger grades 0, 1, 2, 3. Among them, 0 is the most dangerous. Rumors say that some are terrifying items that can destroy countries or even the world. Jeez, they're all like Beyonder items from different like sequences. The 7 Orthodox churches will exchange information regarding grade 0 and grade 1, telling each other which ones they possess. Therefore, grade 0 and grade 1 code names don't be repeated. Grade 2 and grade 3 are arranged by their respective churches, so different churches might have the same code name. Klein had long known about the general situation within the Nighthawks, but he was puzzled by something. Information regarding grade 0 and grade 1 till artifacts is exchanged. Ah. I see, between churches as well, right? Let me change the music. I'm bored of this Baldur's Gate music, I'm sorry. Klein had long known about the general situation within the Nighthawks, but he was puzzled by something. Information regarding grade 0 and grade 1 sealed artifacts is exchanged. Won't that be disclosing major secrets? It will allow the other churches to know how many hidden cards they have. Of course, this could also be seen as a form of strategy. Fuck me, dude. I didn't take my ADHD medicine today, so I'm all over the place.
Strategic.
Strategic that fuck, dude. I really need to. Strategic deterrence to avoid direct conflict between the 7 churches. Klein considered the possible reasons. Yes, although I'm unable to explain the reasons for doing that, it has indeed happened. Legend has it that during the end of the 4th epoch, of the beginning of the 5th epoch, the 7 churches came to an agreement. Oh, maybe like a contract, like a agreement between the gods. So yeah, Eye of Wisdom said at an unhurried pace, my due 081 was obtained from the Church of the God of Knowledge and Wisdom. It allows you to understand and comprehend many things, even an enemies beyond their powers can rapidly identify, allowing me to know of their strengths and weaknesses. I also have a chance at being able to mimic them. The stronger the opponent, the higher the chance of failure. Of course, even success will definitely result in a huge difference from the original. So, what? Where did you get it from? How did you get it from behind Johnny's gate, you know? Strategic, yeah. That sounds very strong. Proof that knowledge is power. In the end, will there be a situation where omniscience is equal to omnipotence? True. I mean, omnipotence is like the most powerful thing. Like omni means like literally the ceiling of the most powerful. Omniscience is the same thing, but like man-made, I think. I retract my previous judgment. All Mr. Eye of Wisdom might not be an appraiser. His identification of items might have relied on sealed artifact 2081. So maybe it's a yonder artifact from the Savant pathway. Klein clicked in his tongue silently as he asked with interest, so how much will I need to buy it? What flaws does it have? It will keep you in a state where your mind is churning at high speeds. Once it exceeds the time limit, you'll become a retard. Eye of Wisdom replied simply without providing enough details. At this moment, the apothecary beside him muttered, perhaps your brain has already been damaged. You keep talking about your collection. Sooner or later, someone will rob you and kill you. Omniscience? Why are you guys like... It literally says omniscience. Science.
Omniscience. Omniscience.
Why is it pronounced like that?
Omniscience.
Wait.
Omniscience.
Omniscience. English is such a stupid language, man. English is such a stupid language. What the hell?
Omniscience. Science. Science. Omniscience.
English is just fine. English is literally badly spoken French. It's badly spoken French and Germanic language. Omniscience, okay. Langlicht is wait. Someone will rob you and kill you. Sir, your persuasions are always so repugnant. Line couldn't help but lampoon. Lampoon! Back to back to back to back. Back to back to back to back to back. Holy! Comparing to us French, you're French, Gilby. I'm sorry. Eye of Wisdom laughed and said, How do you know that I'm not saying it on purpose to make greedy people attack me? Yes, it's like the entire I'm too stupid for this chapter, man. Entrapment
Entrapment.
Okay. It's like the entrapment law once described by Emperor Cell. Of course, another, unoriginal thought. After the laughter stopped, he batted the armrest of his sofa and sighed. As a person who loves collecting things, it's excruciating not being able to flaunt my collection to others. He then looked at Klein. I'm sorry, the Du-081 isn't for sale. It's my best collection. And back then, I spent 6,800 pounds to buy it. A sealed artifact at this level can cost up to 4,000 to 20,000 pounds and is determined by its effects and negative side effects. However, most of the time they can be bought with money. Then why do you say so much? Klein controlled the twitching of his mouth. Seemingly sensing his reaction, Eye of Wisdom chuckled and said, What I really wish to recommend are 2 items. The first, a brooch. It can allow you to ward off spirits and purify them, as well as use a portion of the spells in the sun domain. The flaw is that as long as you wear it, you will never feel coolness. You will forever be stuck in the warm summer of the south. The other is a hat that can change shapes. Wearing it allows you to move freely underwater for at least half an hour and allow to use some water or wind domain spells. Oh, so it's literally like a potion of water breathing or whatever. The flaw is that you will desire water. Once you walk on land, you will gradually weaken. The price of similar items range from 1,500 to 3,500 pounds, and sometimes even if you raise the price several-fold, they aren't necessarily for sale because they rarely appear. It took me more than 3 decades to collect a few. Klein nodded slightly and said, I'll think about it and I'll make a decision during the next gathering. At this point, he deliberately smiled and said, Besides, I don't have that much money right now. Funny. Google the...
Brooch. Brooch. Brooch.
I said brooch. That's crazy.
Brooch.
Anyway, the great foul shift. Fuck the English language over, I swear to God, man. The next gathering, right? Murder case. Ooh, another detective job, I guess. 258. Anyway, guys. I wonder where they get it from, because I guess maybe when Mekus was fighting, there was a lot of like chaos between the when Dingen's Doomsday was happening, and in that chaos a lot of like items were stolen, and the client doesn't know about that because he died, right? He died. So there probably was some like people who were stealing stuff in the chaos. They explained it. My brain is fried, dude. My brain is so fried. Oh, can be repeated, I see. Yeah, exactly. Sorry guys, I didn't take my DHT medication today. It was a bad idea to read maybe. Let me what did I wanna copy? I want the brooch though. Brooch seem interesting. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the gym right now. I'll stream tomorrow again for 4 hours. We did 4 chapters today. I know it's like very short stream, but my brain is not working. So thank you for coming. I'll see you tomorrow around the same time, and we'll stream 4 or 5 hours tomorrow. Sounds good?